Hello friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Workshop. And man, have I been busy since Monday. Today is Friday, December 2nd. It's early in the morning on Friday, but I have spent the last 4 days, daylight till dark, working on my website and trying to understand a new web tool to build the website. For a 62-year-old retired guy, it pushed to the limit. It absolutely pushed me to the limit, trust me. I probably gave up on it at least 2 or 3 times this week and said, I just can't do it. And then, I'd think of something and I'd go back at it again and I'd figure it out, But I had to learn WordPress, which I have to recommend WordPress for one side of it. The other side of it, I have to tell you, it's got a shortcoming in my opinion. But WordPress is a very awesome tool for building websites. So if you don't know anything about it, you ought to check into it. GoDaddy has a front end on it where it'll load WordPress right onto onto your own website for you, which makes it a big deal, and takes a lot of the work out of it, and it's free. So WordPress is awesome, and it's got a ton of plugins, and the plugin that I chose to use for my business is called Music Store. Now that was suggested by one of the YouTube viewers, and all I have is his username, Hardy's1. Hardy's1, thank you very much. It was absolutely the perfect suggestion. I got a lot of suggestions from a lot of folks, and I appreciated all of them, and I checked into most of them. But the one from Hardy's1 to use Music Store on WordPress turned out to be the right answer for me, I think. Although it was a job getting there, because I had been using Site Spinner, which I never was real happy with Site Spinner, which was another website building tool. Never was really happy with that one. So, it worked pretty good and everything, but it just wasn't what I wanted. The new WordPress is exactly what I needed, and the add-on with Music Store is perfect. So thank you, Hardy's1, again. Can't tell you how much. And I got to tell you, the guy that got the whole ball rolling, and I'll just give you his first name, it was Robert from the United Kingdom. He was kind enough to look through my website, made a bunch of suggestions, and told me the shortcomings of my previous website and everything, and and most of them I kind of knew already. I just didn't understand them very much. And of course, he used computer lingo, which I wasn't really into. Now keep in mind, I used to do computer support for AT&T back in the 90s, but geez, it's changed a lot, it really has changed a whole bunch. So I had to kind of Google everything that Robert suggested and try to understand what he was suggesting and why that was, and I got into it, and I just literally spent daylight to dark for the last 4 days. Now I told you I like WordPress, but there's a shortcoming. Let me tell you what the shortcoming is. There should be the easiest step, and it probably is if you really understood it. I don't understand it. I'll be the first to tell you, so don't go hating on me. But the shortcoming is just making it go live. Now that should be simple, because even if you don't understand what I'm talking about, folks, you build your website here in this location, you want to put it live here in this location. It really ought to be just as simple as flip the switch and push everything over here and you're done. It really should be that simple. It's not. I searched Google, I searched YouTube, I searched WordPress site on how to go live, and everybody gave me, I'm serious when I tell you, like 3-4 full pages of instructions of things you have to do. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me. I've spent all this time building this thing, and now I have to go through even worse. This was even worse than building the site. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. They're talking about building databases and all kinds of stuff to move it over live. And I'm going, I've already got it working over here. Why do I need to build anything? I should just be able to copy it right over and I should be done. Well, after a day and a half of trying to figure that out, and I'm talking a full day and a half, I just was about in tears almost. I was so frustrated. I finally just went to GoDaddy's site, and they had a deal that said, it wouldn't let me reinstall it, because I was thinking about doing that because I thought I had WordPress kind of messed up. And so I thought about reinstalling it. It wouldn't let me do that, but then I saw it said move. And I thought, move. So I checked into that a little bit, and sure enough, I could move it from this directory to this directory. So I did that. By this point, by the way, before I did the move, I already had the site screwed up. I mean, I couldn't, because I had tried so many things, and I had it where it wasn't even working at all. And some of you that maybe tried to access my site yesterday probably saw that. So I had it totally in the toilet anyway. So I thought, well, I might as well try the move. Maybe that'll fix it, you know. So I did the move, and of course that didn't fix it. So I finally got GoDaddy on the line, and they spent about an hour with me on the line, and they fixed the problem, and the site's live today. So all that to tell you, the site is working live. It's brand new, top to bottom. Not a single thing is the same. You know, I mean, the content basically is the same, but it's all with a new look and everything and new feel. So please do me a favor, check it out, rosastringworks.com. I'll put a link in the doobly-doo down below. And you can kind of see it in the background here, although it's washed out real bad. You can't really see it very well. And the other thing I wanted to bring you up to date on is my new PC. And that's mainly because people keep asking me, and I just have been so crazy busy, I just couldn't get this video made. All right, so I'll tell you what happened on the new PC. And it's a pretty interesting story in one way. And that is that I decided I was going to build the PC from scratch. Now keep in mind, like I said, I had done PC support for quite a few years at Southwestern Bell, Yellow Pages, and different places. So I knew a lot about the internals of a PC anyway. So it wasn't like that big of a daunting thing, although, like I said, in that length of time, everything's changed. Well, I didn't realize everything had changed that much. So I ordered all the parts in, you know, did a lot of research on YouTube, ordered in an i7 chip and a pretty swanky motherboard, and you know, I don't know, just on and on and on. And it was an ATX motherboard. ATX is the key there, not AT anymore, which is what I will tell you about here in a minute. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, I ordered all the parts in, and then I was going to put them in my old case. Wrong. The new ATX motherboard would not fit in an AT case. So, you know, crap, I've already spent several days here getting all these parts in. Now I'll have to order a case and wait a couple more days. So I ordered a case. Case was on its way here, and I was watching Slice, which is a package tracker. I don't know if you use the Slice app or not. It's a cool app. If you do a lot of ordering, you need to get the Slice app. So I'm looking on Slice and following the package coming here, and okay, it's supposed to arrive tomorrow. Well, tomorrow comes, and I see the package is on its way back to Kansas City, and I'm going, huh? What's up with that? So finally I get I didn't really think too much of it at the moment. I was too busy, and so I just let it go. And then like the next day, it was already back at Kansas City delivered. And I'm going, what is up with that? So I call them, and you know, and long story short, you might have seen in the news, I doubt it made national news, but it certainly made Missouri news. There was a FedEx truck on Highway 70 that hit a parked car literally in the middle of Highway 70. I mean, somebody got out of their car, parked it right in the middle of the highway, and bam, the truck smacked it. Well, everything on the truck was damaged, including my PC case. So that's why it went, oh. So then I was going to be several more days, and I'm thinking, gee whiz. And somewhere in the middle of this, God was watching out for me, because I put in a crazy, ridiculous low bid on a PC. Well, I say that it really wasn't that crazy and wasn't that ridiculous, but what I thought was a pretty low bid on a PC, and it was a brand new PC, not used, coming out of a warehouse that somebody had bought a warehouse, and the description was pretty good. It was just about what I was building, but maybe a little different on a few things, and I thought, well, that's pretty darn good. If I could get that for about $500, that'd be awesome, you know? So I just put a bid in for $500, and kind of forgot about it. Well, would you not know, I ended up getting it, and guess what I got it for? Exactly $500. They quit bidding. Whoever was bidding against me quit bidding for like 90 or something, you know? It's like, okay, it must be meant to be. So that came, I shipped all the old parts back, except I kept two things. I kept the new NIC card that I ordered. I'll show you what that is. If you don't know what a NIC card is, that's a network interface card. I kept the new network interface card, which is what makes Wi-Fi work. I also kept the new power supply, because unbeknownst to me, until I got the new PC, I didn't realize that the PC came with a really crappy power supply. That was the only negative, really, was that it didn't come with a NIC card either. It didn't come with a NIC card, which I knew, and it didn't come. The power supply was really crappy. It was only 240 watts, which is nothing for a power supply. So I had ordered a 500 watt power supply, and the big difference there is that you don't have enough connections on the 240. I mean, that's the main reason that it matters for me. I mean, not that I'm using that much wattage, but it was that I didn't have enough connections. So anyway, I had got that other power supply in, and I'll tell you what it was. It's a EV3A power supply, 500 watt power supply, and it was called their bronze version, which I don't know if that means that's their third best or what, but anyway, it was their bronze version. And the PC that I got, here's what it has in it. It had a, now it has a 500 watt power supply. It's got 24 gigabytes of RAM, which was more than I was going to buy on the one I was building anyway. I was only going to put 16 gigabytes of RAM in it, so 24 gigabytes was a plus. It had an i7 CPU 960 at 320 gigabytes, which was less than the CPU I was buying, but it was still pretty darn good. And it had Windows 10 Professional installed, and it had a 2 terabyte gig hard drive installed, which was pretty good. So when I got it, it still wouldn't work for me because I didn't want to have to rebuild my whole system. Okay, because I would have had to rebuild everything, reinstall all the programs, everything. So what I wanted to do was swap my drives out of my old PC, put them in my new one. So here's what the new one has in it now. It has a 500 gigabyte hard drive for the C drive. It has a 1 terabyte drive for the D drive, which is where I keep most of my regular data and my song music, just CDs type songs. And then it has an E drive, which is a 1 terabyte drive, and that's where I do all my videos. Now that drive is really not big enough. I've got it pretty full. So what I plan to do is also later, when I get time, take that 2 gigabyte drive that the new PC came with and install it in there. By putting in my old drives in the new PC, I didn't have to reinstall anything. Basically, everything just worked when I powered it up. I mean, there was a few little tweaky things I had to do, but nothing real bad. I mean, if you know anything about building a system from scratch, installing all the software is where the time really is. So I didn't have to go through all that mess. So it basically worked just like my old one, except better because it's bigger and faster. So that's the story on the PC. I told you I'd tell you about the NIC card. Here's the NIC card. I just went to school off of somebody else off of YouTube. Whether this is the best one or not, I don't have a clue. It's TP-Link. It says N900 wireless dual band PCI Express adapter. So that's about all I actually see on here. There's looks like maybe a model number, a TLWDN. That's TLWD like David, N like Nancy, 4800. So if you're looking to get a good NIC card, this seems to be a pretty good one. I'm happy with it, so it was easy to put in and make it work. So that's the whole story, folks. Please do me a favor. Check out my website, www.rosastringworks.com. You can just literally type in rosastringworks.com and it'll come right up. Go through the whole thing, every page if you would. I would like to hear from you in terms of suggestions. I mean, I know I'm not perfect. Trust me, I learned this from the seat of my pants since Monday. Okay, so it can't be perfect. If you have some good constructive ideas or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. It's easy to update and fix now at this point. So, I should be able to update and fix almost anything that you suggest, or if it's a good idea, by gosh, I'll implement it. So thank you for listening to me ramble on here, and I do appreciate all the subscriptions and subscribers that we've got. We're about to hit 2,500, which is another little milestone, and that's awesome. So thank you very much. Have a good day.